Hey, Xiomy here. So today I wanted to film the mid-year book freakout tag. Now we're in July, so what better month to actually film this video than right now. I am going to have the creators link down below, but I am going to say one thing. The answers to these questions were a little bit difficult because I had so many books that I really did enjoy, so I was pondering for a while like which one should I choose for each question. But without further ado, let's get into these questions. Okay, so the first question is best book you've read so far. This was a little bit difficult, but after, thinking about it for a while, I decided to choose This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. I loved and enjoyed everything about this book, and I recently just read it. I loved it so much that I pre-ordered a book, and I never pre-order books. That's something that's weird for me. And I'm never gonna pre-order a book again because shipping to Puerto Rico, somehow they don't arrive on time. So I'm gonna have to wait like a week for it to arrive. But anyways, that's not the topic for today. But I really did enjoy this story. I loved the dystopian vibes. The characters that were introduced were so beautifully, to me, fleshed out because you got to see so many things about them. In some cases, you felt a lot of empathy towards them, and I really enjoyed both of them. Like, you got your badass kind of character, and you got this character who's dealing with a lot of emotions also, because you have August, and August was just such a beautiful character that I love so much. And I love the explanation of the 3 different demons that have manifested into this world, because you have a dystopian vibe, which I just mentioned, and you have Verity, which is the town that they live in, and it's basically been divided in 2, in the north and the south, and each one is ruled by a different person. But then when these 2 characters like lives mesh together, the story begins, and the adventure is just so wonderful to go through it with them. Was just an incredible journey, and I can't wait to see what happens in the other book. For question number 2 is best sequel you've read so far, and I really wanted to choose one, but I couldn't choose one answer because I love both of these books equally. So I have 2 answers for this question. The first book that I'm going to show you is Wind Witch by Susan Dennard. This was a freaking amazing book. I'm not going to tell you too much about it because obviously spoilers, but it was just such an amazing ride to go with these characters. You have them thrusted again into an adventure, you have character development, you have more world building being brought into this book, and I just love that so much. I had characters in this book that I didn't ship in the first one, and I fangirled so much in this one for, so it was an amazing and thrilling experience. I also did a book talk and a spoiler-free review in this book, so I'm gonna have them linked down below. But this was just a beautiful journey to go in. The writing is just amazing. The other book that I'm gonna mention is Gemini by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. This book was simply brilliant. I mean, the events are really tragic. I'm not gonna deny it, but everything about it was just so amazing. The new introduction of these characters, I really did enjoy all of them. I thought that they were very badass, and just the situations that they're thrusted in and the turmoil that they go through, it just made it for an incredible journey. And you also get the other characters in one way meshed into the story while only given bits and pieces about them, but it's just centered around these specific new characters, and I cannot wait for the next installment. Question number 3 is new release you haven't read yet but want to, and I'm gonna mention a book that I really haven't been able to get my hands on but I want to read so badly, and that is Flame in the Mist by Renee Adhere, I think it is. I really want to read this book because it is a retelling of Mulan. I've never in a gazillion years in my life have ever read a retelling of Mulan, and I've heard nothing but wonderful things about this book. Question number 4 is most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and I'm gonna have to say the second installment in The Reader is called The Speaker. It's by Tracy Chi. This book is going to be released on November 7th, and I really can't wait to see what kind of adventures these 2 characters are thrusted into, because I really did enjoy everything about these 2 main characters. You have that slow burning romance, which is something that I really do adore in books. You also have side characters of pirates that are being meshed into the story in one way or another when they are intertwined with the main characters. It's an adventure that I really did enjoy. I'm not gonna deny that there are some things that are convenient for the main characters, but I really did enjoy the journey that they're in. You don't have too much world building, so that's something that I really want for it to be fixed in the second book. So I can't wait to see what else happens with them. Question number 5 is biggest disappointment so far, and I'm gonna have to mention Eleanor in Part by Rainbow Rowell. I know that this book really wasn't for me just because there were so many things and so many issues that I had with it, especially the things that were happening to the main character, and how the mother reacted to some of these things was something that was really, it was just hurtful for me and annoying at times, because I know the time, and I've known certain people during that time that have lived without a man and they can't take care of their kids. Of course, this isn't the exception for everybody, but it's just some things that really did hurt me as to what she was saying, and there were other events that I was really annoyed with. So I really had major issues with that book, so that's why I'm going to mention it. And I'm also going to mention 2 more other books, and that is the second and the third installment in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series. I had so many issues with these 2 books, especially that there were some things that really did drag, and some things that really weren't explained further in detail, and it's just like they were left for you to speculate, and I was like, you don't do that, especially in the final installment in a book. So I had also major issues with those books, and they were a bit of a disappointment for me. Question number 6 is biggest surprise, and again I have two choices for this one because apparently I can't choose one, so you know, just bear with me. The first one that I want to mention is The Sun Is Also the Star by Nicola Yoon. I wasn't expecting to enjoy this book as much as I did, so that's why it's a huge surprise for me, but I really did enjoy both of the main characters. I mean, you have them as nerds, and then you have this insta love. I mean, cliche at times, and obviously you have some cringeworthy moments, but I just didn't care. I just enjoyed everything that they were saying, and how Daniel was actually explaining these things was something that I was like, hey, you stupid little boy, but it was just something that was so entertaining to read, and I really did enjoy their story, and also the side stories that were being introduced into the book. You know, every single person that they actually like met, you know, you got to see a little glimpse in their story, and I thought that that was something that was very brilliant to actually include in a book. So that's why I'm gonna say it's my biggest surprise. And the other one that I want to mention is because the second book I had a lot of issues with, and I kind of like lost interest in continuing this series, but I decided to pull through, and I was like, you know what, stop it and just continue this series, because you have to continue it, especially when you made a promise that you're going to read the books by the end of the year. And that is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. My goodness, did I freaking enjoy everything about this book. It was just so lovely, and I got to immerse myself again in this magical world. And I just, with this book, I want to continue the rest of the series, because this book really motivated me to continue reading it, because the characters that were being introduced, Lupin and Sirius, those are my two new characters that I really did enjoy, and I loved a little bit more of character development from the trio, and it was just an amazing story to go through, and so many things that were being introduced. There were some things that I was like, yes, you know, them standing up for themselves was something that I really did love, especially, you know, when one specific character stands up to the professor, to one professor, that I'm like, But it was just an amazing and enjoyable story to read. Question number 7 is favorite new author, whether it be a debut or author that's new to me, and I'm gonna choose Victoria Schwab. This is the first book that I ever have read about her, and I really did enjoy the characters, the world building, the writing was just beautiful. So I can't wait to see how I transition to other books and how much I love them, especially her adult books. So I really can't wait to read more about this author. Question number 8 is new fictional crush, and I have two. Again, I can't choose one, but that's Jest from Heartless. I really did enjoy this Joker and everything about him. He's a character that really did pain me, but I loved him so much, and everything that he goes through, and you know how loyal he is and everything he's willing to sacrifice. He was a very lovely character that I really did enjoy. The next one that I want to mention is Akiva from the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series. I really did enjoy this character and everything that he went through, and you know, and what he was willing to choose, you know, was something that I have to say that I have to root for, because he was a character that no matter what, he stood by what he wanted to accomplish, and that's something that I have to praise. Question number 9 is new favorite character, and I think I mentioned them, but I'm going to mention them again, and that is Sirius Black and Professor Lupin. I really enjoyed everything about these characters and you know, their story, and I do want to know more about them, and I want to get more about them. I even had to watch the movie just to see, you know, to see them in action, because I really did enjoy these two characters and everything that they did and went through. Question number 10 is book that made you cry, and I find it odd because I usually cry in a lot of books, but so far, like, not many books have made me cry, but I did think of one, and it's a moment really that made me cry and that made me sad, and it's near towards the end, and that is from The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. The last 100 pages in this book are just so beautiful, but they're so painful, you know, and I'm not gonna say it because obviously spoilers, but you know, I can say that the events that happened in the end really did make me cry. Question number 11 is book that made you happy, and I'm gonna have to say The Novice by Taran Matharu. I really did enjoy this book. I don't know what took me so long to actually read it, but the characters, the events that they're in was just something that was very lovely at times. Question number 12 is favorite book to film adaptation you saw this year, and is Wonder Woman. I really did enjoy this movie like so much. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman is just perfect, and funny because I was one that criticized her in the beginning, but I take back all my words because she has made such a perfect Wonder Woman, and I love her so much. You know, you get that innocence from her while you have, you know, bits and information from the comics, which is something that I really did enjoy. You also have those Easter eggs thrown out through the movie, which is something that I really did enjoy watching. So that's why I'm going to say that that one was a really great adaptation from the comic books to the film. Question number 13 is favorite video you've done so far this year, and I'm gonna have to say the book talk that I did about Wind Witch. I really did enjoy doing that because I released a lot of fandom and a lot of fangirling moments that I had, even though I had to cut a lot of scenes out because I was like, woman, you need to stop, breathe, and control yourself. But it was just something that I really did enjoy doing. Question number 14 says most beautiful book you've bought so far this year, and I'm gonna have to go with this one, which is Stealing Snow by Danielle Page. I thought that the cover is just simply beautiful, and the fact that inside the cover it's purple, and that's one of my favorite colors. I was like, oh my god, yes. I haven't read this book because I'm waiting for like a specific moment, but I thought that the cover was really beautiful and it really did draw me more to buying the book. So yeah, this is a cover buy. Question number 15, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And that's going to be the final books in the Harry Potter series, books 4, 5, 6, and 7. And these are books that I did say that I was going to finish last year, and unfortunately I didn't finish, but I have to finish them this year because my dear friend already finished my favorite series, so I have to pick up the pace. Well, that's it for the mid-year book freakout tag. I'm gonna tag certain specific people. Louis or Kitsune, I'm gonna have his links down below. JD Estrada, Ra from Bob's and Books, I think it is, and other people that I'm gonna have tagged down below because I really can't remember from the top of my head, so just look down there because I'm gonna have you tagged. But that's it for my video. I want to thank you for watching, and until next time, peace.